What?
What was the title again? CI.
Professor of CIS at Rock Valley College.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jessica Hewitt. I'm the Baker Public Library's library assistant. I'm here to introduce you to the host for the evening, Chuck Conkle, who's here from the
Rock Valley College.
Rock Valley College. He is Professor of CIS there, and he'll be taking you through getting on your iPad.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, welcome everyone. We'll get started momentarily here. I'm trying to paste a link for you. So everybody brought their iPad, right? You at least have, and somebody, your neighbor has one at least. That would be awesome. As long as your neighbor has one, you're good. And just so you know, while I'm getting this set up here for this projector, everything we'll be saying tonight and doing will be recorded. So if you're like me, when I'm in a meeting, I think it's even been proven, we remember about 6% of what we're meeting-wise anyway. In about a 2-hour meeting, we remember 6 to 12%, and that's about it. So I videotape everything I do. So this will be recorded. So I'll show you a website here at the beginning and end that you can jot down and go home and rewatch it, because I'm sure you're not going to remember everything. And I don't want you to feverishly be writing things down as the night goes on. We only have 2 hours, and 2 hours seems like a lot of time, but it will fly by real quick. And I know most of you are, I'm talking to some of you already, are fairly new to iPads, or you recently purchased one in the last year or two. If you raise your hand, if you're in that category, you've purchased an iPad in the last year or two, great. And so I'm going to go over a lot of information tonight. A lot of the way I like to teach is I like to talk about something real quick and then do it immediately afterwards. And being a small group, that'll be nice. I can walk around, and I will walk around, help you figure out the things that we're going to be going over. And so I mentioned up front is tomorrow the new iPad OS is coming out, iOS 11, which I've already have it on my iPad because I teach iPad development. I know you don't, but I thought it'd be helpful to probably talk about that, since more than likely by the end of the week, all your iPads will have the new operating system on. And a lot of features you have now are the same, but there's going to be new features as well that we're going to talk about as well. So there'll be some features that I show you tonight that you won't have on your iPad, but you will when you upgrade it tomorrow or thereafter. And I do recommend at the end of the page, at the end of the presentation, I actually talk about how to update your iPad as well, how to update the operating system. How many's already done that already? Maybe once or twice, or you didn't do it, you just have it set to auto and it does it for you, maybe? Because that's what a lot of people do now. Okay. So that website right there, and this one you can write down. This is about the only thing I'm going to have you really write down or jot down on your phone or on your paper if you brought that, is rbchourofcode.com. And when you go to that website, there's a menu called Workshops, and under that menu is a menu called a link called iPad. And in that we'll have all the entire presentation tonight, both what you see on the screen plus what you hear. Okay, will be on that page. All right. So rbchourofcode.com. Then you'll click on the Workshops menu and go to iPad. And I'll mention this again at the very end, at the last slide as well. Okay. Need to repeat that for anybody? rbchourofcode.com, and then go to iPad. And I'll have it in the last slide as well. So tonight we're going to go over some basic navigation with your iPad, how to work with the multiple different apps on your iPad. And I'm specifically going to talk about the apps that come with your iPad. Not really new apps, but just apps that come with your iPad. Everybody has them. How to use email, how to take photos and manage those photos, how to take notes. And in the notes one, I've actually added a way to include pictures in your notes and links in your notes, which sometimes you might want to do. And then we'll do I like to use a lot of shortcuts. So I'll show you a lot of gestures, hand gesture shortcuts for your iPad that'll help you just use your iPad more efficiently. And again, don't worry about feverishly writing things down, because everything that I'm saying and you're watching is being recorded. Now, as we go through the night, there'll be times where I go over something and I'll say, now let's try it. And when I say that, I'll keep the screen on the overhead, and I'll have you try whatever it is that we're going over, okay? I'll walk around. You can definitely help each other as well. So you can talk one to another and help each other. Any questions before we get started? Okay. So as I already mentioned this, iOS 11 comes out tomorrow. And this workshop will cover items in iOS 11 and 10, which is, most of you probably have iOS 10 point something.
Where can you actually see that?
Yeah, I'll go over that actually tonight. Yep, I'll show you exactly where to go to find that. At the very last slide, I actually talk about how to find out what version you're at and how to update your operating system. When you do update your iPad at home, I suggest, which most of you probably do, when you go home tonight, you'll plug your iPad in the charger, in the wallet in your bedroom or a nightstand or whatever. You'll go to settings, general, and software updates. So with your iPad right now, let's go ahead and practice that. Let's go ahead and do that. On your iPad, on one of the main menus on your iPad, you might have 2 or 3 screens possibly. One of them should be settings. Then go to general. Then you'll see one called software update. I'll come around and help you.
What should it say?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, yours is 10.3. And you've got an Android. I'm going to let you borrow mine. That's not that's an Android. I'll let you know.
Can I get?
No, this is totally different. Totally different device. Yeah, this is Android. But so you just leave. Okay. So we're going to tap on these. And then general. So we're on there. Software. See where it says software update?
Yes.
We'll tap that. Okay, so most of you are what? iOS 10 something? Okay, great.
What do you do after general?
You're going to see a software update section on the right. Very top, software updates. Yep, you're going to tap on that. And usually will tell you the version here in a second. And again, if your iPad's within a couple of years old, you'll get the iOS 11 tomorrow. It'll still actually update. Now, real quickly, just navigation-wise on your iPad, most of you might know this already, but I'm not going to assume you do. There's a home button. So tap the home button, which is a circular button on the right of the iPad. It's a button that's kind of indented. If you tap it and hold it, it'll go to the home screen. Undo that. And we'll have you do a lot of stuff with the home button tonight. I'll have you do stuff like double, single tap, and that's about it. Okay? And all the home button does for you is takes you where? Back home. Right, takes you back home. And so the home button, by the way, more confusing for you, which I know you don't like this, the new iPads are coming out with are getting rid of the home button. And so the way you get to the home button or the home screen on the new iPads is you just swipe up anywhere on the screen that takes you there. Technology, it changes all the time. And so, but know now, I'm guessing most of you are going to keep yours for at least another year, hopefully, or more. And I have iPads way back from where they started, and I still use them. So everybody understand what the home button is? It lets you get home to where you need to be, or you want to go. Not around. It's the button on the right side of the iPad. I just hit cancel. There you go. Now, the one thing I want to also talk about here before we get started, just so you make sure you have internet access, which you might need possibly tonight. How many's been in the library for here already? Been here in the library? Okay. Well, let's talk about how to connect to the Wi-Fi here in the building. How many connects to Wi-Fi at home with your iPad already? You know how to do that? I'm not going to assume you do. So again, go to settings on your iPad again. You're already there, stay there. And on the left side on settings, you're going to see a section called Wi-Fi. Tap the Wi-Fi section. And on the right side will populate all of the access points where we can get internet. One of them being Winnebago County Library. I think it's WCL is the name of it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, give it a second, it's still thinking. WPL is the name of it. So tap WPL, P as in Paul. So William, Paul, Larry, WPL. Tap that, it's going to connect you to the Wi-Fi here in the library. We are going to be going on the internet a little bit, so probably good to have that. Did everybody get connected? It should have a checkbox next to it once it connects. Now go ahead and tap the home button again on your iPad to take you back to the home screen. Do that. Be describing some things, and again, which we might not, that's okay. I have a lot of slides here. The great thing about it is, the website I gave you first, and I'll remind you at the end, and I suggest going over it again yourself anyway, a couple more times. So navigation. This talks about just basically up on your iPad screen. Now, most of you tonight have your iPad in portrait mode like this, but horizontal mode. So if you take it just for fun, even though you normally set it like you have now, set it to portrait mode like this, to where your home button is at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the table. It's fine, you're not gonna hurt it. Yeah, good. Just go ahead and flip it to where, just like that, there you go. Put it on the table, you can do that. And so we're gonna talk about the makeup of the screen here real quick, and what does what. Notice the home we've already talked about. We got A, E, C, and D that we're going to go over. A, B, C, and D. A's on the left, B's on the upper left, C's on the upper middle, thank you. D is on the lower right. So we're going to go over each one of those. And then we're going to go over the back side, which has some buttons that the front side doesn't have, just navigational, we can't see it. So first is, let's go over what app icons are. So if you look at the screen that you're sitting at right now, everything on your screen, regardless of what screen you're at, like notes, maps, calendar, Safari, things like that, okay? Pretty basic there. Next is status bar, which is B. Status bar is on the upper left corner. And you'll notice on yours, it's going to determine your Wi-Fi connection in here when I had you connect to the Wi-Fi, and it'll give you what the signal strength is, and I'm guessing it's pretty good. 2 or 3 bars, hopefully. There you go. So the importance of that on the upper left corner, strength, okay? The strength of the Wi-Fi is, if you don't have strong Wi-Fi, it can mean slower download speeds when you're browsing the internet, on the internet. And I know we've all been there before, even before the iPad days, where the internet's really slow or something. And for most of us in here, when we connect home or at work with our iPads, we rely totally on the Wi-Fi. And that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but we do it. And so, I guess evil. And so, B is, again, the status of where you're connected to. And strength. Let's go to C, which is going to be the status, I believe, or the FaceTime camera. FaceTime camera, has anybody done FaceTime before? We're not going to be able to cover it tonight, but FaceTime is actually going to be one of the helps at the very end of the slides. I give you a whole bunch of help files to go to. You can go to Apple's website and find a whole slew of information and video we're going to learn tonight. How many has grandchildren? Kids? Grandkids. We do FaceTime. My son lives in Springfield, Missouri, and our grandchild's a little over a year old. You remember that year-old stage? You're just changing every day, talking and start first words. And last night Mark had Q in just 0642 if it ever comes up. 0642. He had him in the St. Louis Cardinals year. St. Louis Rams, I'm sorry. St. Louis Rams, which are moving. And had a FaceTime basically is a way to video chat with your friends and family through your iPad or iPhone. Really how to do it and the steps of how to do it. We just won't do it in here, but I'll give you the steps of how to do it basically. And I definitely recommend if you have kids away from where you live, they have an iPhone or iPad to use FaceTime because it's a really nice way to see each other where you can't see them face to face.
Just talking on the phone and you can see who you're talking to.
Right.
They can see.
Yeah, and I do give you the steps of how to do it, and I recommend trying it when you get home. Then we have the multi-touch display, the home button, and the volume buttons. The multi-touch display is what it's pointing to on D. Press a button, any of the icons on your iPad, and if everybody would just do that for me right now, just press and hold any icon, app icon on your iPad, doesn't matter what it is. Just press and hold it until it starts shaking, and you'll see an X show up on mobile iPad. What that means is when it starts shaking is you can delete those apps, you can move them around, you can screens that are on your iPad. Because most of you might have 2 to 3 different pages on your iPad, and you'll go to the bottom of your iPad. If you look at your home screen right now, you might have an ellipsis at the very bottom. When you swipe, go ahead and do that. Swipe to the left or to the right with your iPad on your screen. It doesn't have any icons, which most of you are aware of that maybe, but I don't assume you are. And by doing what I had you do earlier of holding icon, it's actually called pressure sense. Yours are still wiggling, by the way. To get rid of that, just tap the home button again. On this screen here, goes over on the, I'll start at the upper right corner. It's your port for your sound or your headphones. Have your back facing camera. The front facing camera, by the way, is not as good as a camera. What I mean by that is you get better quality images with the back facing camera. And that's right there in the middle, letter I. On the upper left is where you power off your iPad. Actually, the actual camera. I is actually the sound port. I said it was camera earlier, it's a sound port. G on the upper left is the camera itself. On F, it's a volume control. And then M is going to be your, for some of you have cellular models. Anybody have cellular? Like you have some service? Okay. I have a chip on yours in this location on the bottom. You will have a chip on your location. Now, some providers like AT&T or I can't remember what providers don't allow you to have access to them, but they're in there. You just don't maybe have access to it. The bottom, anybody know what that one's for? Letter L. Okay. Got to charge it, right? To charge it, put your lightning cord in there and to charge it. I have a green one here that I brought. You plug it into your wall socket. And by the way, a real reasonably priced place to buy these, if these ever go bad or you want an extra, is Five Below in Rockford. You buy the cord and the charger both for under $5. It's really inexpensive and they last a while. That's on your slides, by the way, but it is being recorded, so you can hear it later. All right. Let's talk about the SleepWake button. That was the one I talked about earlier of shutting down. That one's actually located on the top of the iPad. If you have it in portrait mode, the iPad's facing you, press and hold the upper left button on your iPad. And I'll come around and show you where it's at. Yours is actually going to be for this one. It's going to be actually this here. Mine's a little different. Screens. This is the volume button on this one. Yeah.
So this is gonna do what I wanted to do.
No, that's the volume button. Yeah, that's Android. So let me see if you can find these are different versions. Yours is right there on yours. I'm gonna come by and look at everybody's because it might be different depending on the version you have. That's volume. Up and down, yeah, up and down. That's gonna lock it or unlock it. Yeah, so press and hold that button. Yep. And you should get a prompt turn off or on. You're not going to turn it off, but that's what you can do. Yes. Okay. And let's see. Yours is a newer one, looks like, right? Okay. Yours is going to be on the upper right corner, right there. So press and hold that. Hold it, yep. There you go. Just hit the X at the bottom, and that'll cancel out of it. Turn off, just hit the X at the bottom, and then you'll exit out of it. And yours. Keep holding it. Good. Now I'm going to press the X. Got one of yours.
Yeah.
And what is that? Yes.
It doesn't actually turn it off.
Yep. And then, yeah, and then if you look turn it off, you can like that one too.
Right, this is gonna just put you to sleep.
Right, exactly. That's going to turn it off, like power off the device.
Right.
I'm going to talk about that next. So go ahead and press the X. Okay, to put your screen to sleep on purpose, do the very same button, but just press and release it once. And that's going to make the screen go black. Okay, press and release it once real quick. Don't hold it, just press and release it. Just press and release it once. Just press and release the button once.
All right.
There you go, perfect. Got that, good. Now, talk about real quick, one more little getting around thing. If you'll tap the home button, and if you have a passcode on your iPad, allow you to put it back again. Get in. Mine's 0642. Okay, you tap the home button again. Tap it again. Press release it. There you go. There you go. Then swipe it. Yep. One more time. Real quick. Okay. Tap it again. And then put in my 0642. And then tap the home button. Oh, right here. Now, everybody should be on your home screen. I want you to tap settings again. Tap settings again. We'll show you how to set a timer for when your device goes to sleep. So on the left side, depending on the version you have, might be different. But if you have on the left side an area for display and something, tap on that. You have display. You have display and brightness. Display and brightness. And then in there is where you can set the auto lock to never or down to 2 minutes. Keep going. Or you want settings on this? Okay, there you go. Okay, so tap on the auto lock for me, and it'll show you the different increments that you can set. Most of yours, I'm guessing, set 2 minutes. Because if you've never touched it, that's what it's set to default. Mine says 2, 5, 10, 15, and never. Is that what everybody else says? Okay. And I suggest the 2 minutes is what I suggest, if it's not set to that. If you hit back button to the brightness in the display area, here's where you can set the brightness of your iPad, which I suggest here in the middle. No. Hit the back arrow. And here we can set your brightness. That's just right in the middle. So slide in the middle there. Now it's harder to see, I know. I do the same thing. Swipe while you're doing something, but then when you're done, I'll okay, cool. And again, on the brightness, at the end of the day, my eyes get pretty tired. Does your guys get tired? Like mine? Maybe it's just me. So I have to have a brighter screen towards the end of the day. I recommend, but before you lock your iPad, you know, go back in there and detect. Okay. On some new, you have it up in the very same thing in the videos. So just know that. So on your iPad, can you the home button, we should be clear on that. Let's just go home at any time from where we're at on our iPad. And this is helpful too if you get lost on, you know, where's everything at, where'd I go? Just tap the home. Now, how many sort of an Apple ID? If you've not set up an Apple ID, you need that to purchase apps on the App Store. And I do have a video on the website that will be posted tomorrow for that one. I'm posting both one for iOS 11 and iOS 10, so I didn't want to confuse anybody tonight with that. But just so you know, to do anything on the iPad as far as to get iPad apps, and this iCloud account or an Apple account, basically. Walk you through how to do that. It's no big deal. It's pretty easy to do, by the way. Now, as I was walking around, most on your iPad's a passcode, and I do recommend that just for security purposes. And when you set the pass, make sure to pass. And I saw a passcode on pretty much every device. So you're already aware of what that passcode is and what it does, which is basically just secure your iPad that knows that iPad passcode. Siri is the iPad you talk and make requests. Okay, like what's the weather in Ron? I don't have this set up, it won't work on your iPad, so I won't cover it in the session tonight. But I do have videos I'll be posting. The great thing about the website I created is I will be posting new videos even after tonight for iOS 11, which everybody in here is going to have, because they've changed how Siri works a little bit. So you show you something tonight, and then tomorrow you do your update. Has anybody used Siri before, by the way, already? Okay. It can be confusing for sure for people that are even tech savvy like myself because they've changed it so often. Here's how anybody do cooking at home? I was a chef for years. And you want to, okay? I use Siri about 9%. Okay? I'll say, hey, so it's, and that's it. Counts down. When it's done, it goes off, and I know everything's ready. I like that one. That's why I use them more. So if you can remember something, and it will be on the video, that little tidbit of information, if you don't want to use Siri for anything else, works great for timers. It really does. Anybody else use a timer on Siri before?
All the time.
Oh, I love. Do you love it? Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I use that probably more than any other reminder app during the day is that timer. Volume controls, pretty basic on that. It's on the side of your iPad. It has on the the iPad ringer from being on or off. Some of your iPads, depending on the age, might not. It's actually a switch on the iPad on the side of it. You might look at yours real quick just to see if you have one. It's no big deal. But most of you probably will. It's some switch on the upper right corner of the iPad. And when you turn it on or off, unless you've played with it, it will basically mute all alarm. Your iPad is what it's going to do. The lightning connector, the only recommendation I have for your lightning connector is to buy more, keep backups all the time, because these do go periodically and just normal wear and tear. And again, Five Below, you can buy them really reasonably. Okay, now we're getting some fun stuff. How many likes gestures, the game's gestures? Gestures we play a lot. But I love to do gestures because gestures in iPad is we're going to talk about I want you to, on your iPad, to start 3 or 4 apps. I suggest like Safari web browser, maybe the clock, maybe settings, maybe, and anything else like notes. Let's do notes or something like that. So 3 or 4 app on it and start it. So basically, for you, notes is one, and then tap the home, and then do Safari, tap that right there. Tap it again. Just tap it and release it. You're not going to hurt it. There you go. Tap the home button. Just tap it and release it. Okay, tap it again. There you go. And then let's do settings. Just tap and release it. There you go. And then tap that and release it. And then let's do clock. So once you get all 4 open, after you get all 4 running, go ahead and tap your home button to go back to the home page. Okay? Okay, now this is really cool. You're going to like this one. If you look at my fingers, like I'll try to put them up here on the front of the classroom. If you take your fingers like this on the iPad, all 4 fingers it's going to take and swipe up from the bottom of the iPad, anywhere on the screen, swipe up, all 4 fingers. It's going to bring in all of the open iPad apps, and then you can swipe with one finger from the left to the right to see the apps that are open. So we have 4 fingers up, and then swipe with one finger left or right. Look at your 4 fingers up to be like that. 4 fingers up. Make sure you're home first. That's right. Okay. Put them all together, make sure your 4 fingers up. There you go, you got it. Just yep. It takes some practice. They don't have to be perfectly aligned, but just there you go, you got it. So as soon as you see them showing up, then you can swipe to the left or the right. Yep. And once you swipe into the left or right, you then are, you want to put it in landscape mode? Like you have before you first came. There you go. And you might put your iPads on landscape mode, might be easier to do what we're doing now. Just put your iPads like it was at first in landscape mode, and the swipe up with 4 fingers. You have to be kind of physical. Take practice first. There you go, just like that. Yep. You don't have to do it. No, just anything on the screen, doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to hit 4 apps, just a screen. Okay, now swipe to the left or right. Keep swiping. Okay. Then you have 4 apps open. You open 4 apps. Okay, so you open 4 apps. It's more. There you go. There, fingers go up. Now you can swipe through those apps. Go tap the home button and you practice it. Go tap the home button and do what I just did. Swipe up. Anywhere on the screen with 4 fingers. Doesn't matter what it is. This time. There you go. And then swipe with 1 finger left or right. Left or right until you see all the apps. You guys get over here? Very cool. Pretty cool, right? How'd you get it? Good?
Yeah, I got it. Must have pressed something.
Oh, that's right. You're okay. See, there you go. Yours. Okay. Try something different. Now open. Did everybody open notes up? Or somebody open Safari up? Okay. Doesn't matter what app. Okay. Let's say whatever app it is, you open that app up, and then do what it says on the overhead. Swipe from the left and right with 4 fingers. Left and right with 4 fingers. That's okay. Just swipe with left and right. Now make sure it's like this. Just like you did earlier, the 4 fingers look like mine. You're swiping left and right like this on your screen. Not like this, but left and right.
I'm always left.
Now just do this. So open that up. Open that up. Now swipe left and right with 4 fingers. There you go. Perfect. Come back. Yep. So what you're doing with the left and right swipe with the 4 fingers is you're going to every app that's open, and it does take practice. And when you get to the one you like, you can stop it. Some of you might decide, you know, I don't like that. Okay? But again, it takes practice to do it. So I don't expect you to get it the first time here. So
Because now it turns that around too.
Yeah, go ahead and tap your home button for me. Open up any of the apps like that one. Now do this swipe finger this way. No,
Oh,
no.
I get it. Oh,
Do it like this. This way.
oh.
So I did it again. Then notes, bring up notes. Okay, now swipe like this. There you go, keep that way. Swipe back this way. Check.
I'm just not having.
Yeah, that's what you don't need. So, open up Pinterest. Put some stuff here. Okay, good. There you go. So, yeah, it takes practice, so don't expect you to get it tonight. But you keep practicing it. The fun one. double tap your home button. We'll double tap it. You're not going to hurt it. We'll double tap it. Double tap. And when you double tap your home button, what do you see?
All the apps.
All the apps, okay? Now, to your screen, do this. Watch me on the front first. Just like it says on the screen there, it shows you. You take your fingers just like mine and go boom like that. Just pinch in. Pinch in on your screen anywhere. It's going to go right to the home page. Might take it a couple times.
Not getting
Well,
I'm not getting
Oh,
Fingers?
fingers.
that's hold it.
That's the most.
There you go.
this.
Yep. Now, let's open up one app. Let's open up like Notes or Safari or whatever you had open earlier. Do the same thing with that app. Do the pinch screen with 5 fingers. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have to remember home button all the time. So that's a few shortcuts I use all day long. Once you perfect these shortcuts, it'll speed up your time. Make sense? Okay. Now, some stuff. Slides is actually a little bit about iOS 11, mostly iOS 11, some iOS 10. But everybody knows if you tap the home button on your iPad right now, tap the home button at the bottom of your iPad. How many apps do you have at the bottom there that you can launch? Like 3 or 4 usually. The cool thing about iOS 11, they let you, if you have a Mac computer, which is really cool. So, but even though you don't have the iOS 11 yet, I can show you how to manipulate those icons you have in there now on your Apple dock, your app dock, okay? It's found at the bottom of your screen. To add an app, all you do is press and hold any app on your Apple device. The squiggly thing will happen, right? The little X things will show up. And then you can drag and drop items to and from your dock. Go ahead and try that. Take something out of your dock, put something in your dock. But first you have to press and hold any app on your screen till the shake happens. Then go down to your dock and press and hold a dock item, bring it out onto your iPad screen, release it, and then add something else in it. And again, it takes a little bit to get that. I'll walk around something. So press and hold. And then we'll do like, take this Notes app, drag it out, and then like take this one, drag it in. So you try it. So what's the benefit? It's just a quick launch. Yeah, it's a quick launch. Cool. So you figured out how to do it, right? Figure out how to do the dock manipulation. Press and hold any icon until it shakes. So go back to your home. Press and hold until it shakes. Okay. Now let's take the mail and drag it out. Hold and drag it. Release it. Now let's take Notes and hold and drag it in. And then release it. And press your home button to go back to where you want it to be.
That doesn't do more than 6, right?
No, that's all you can have on the current version of iOS. 11 will let you have much more. And again, it's just a quick launch, okay? In fact, I'm going to follow this real quick. I have iOS 11 on this iPad. I'll walk around and show you what it looks like. Look at the bottom. See all the app icons? A lot of app icons on that. There's iOS 11.
So you think when you say it's a fast, it opens faster?
Yeah, well, it just works just like those. You can add more. So instead of only adding 4, you can add 20 or 30 if you want to. And you can even group them together too, which is nice. Okay. So this little video, I think, is showing you what we just showed you how to do. I'm showing you what we just did, but we'll watch it. And this is an iOS 11. Well, that's it. Do what now?
So wait, maybe when you have more of your apps on one screen instead of.
Yeah, we'll do that in just a second when we can talk about grouping your apps together. Yep, which I recommend. And we'll definitely do that. Okay, let's see here. We already did the app navigation on working with your index finger. I'm not going to go over that. We did that. We did that. Okay, if you look on the overhead, different control panels available for us on iOS 11. As you can see on the right side of the screen, that is all that you see on the right side over here is all manageable. You can add and take away all these items. Like an example I have here, a timer, a flashlight. I can make text smaller, larger. I can lock the screen, play music, brighten my screen here. I can even do what's called screen record now. I can record everything on my iPad screen. And you'll be able to do that with iOS 11, okay? So a little sneak peek in what you're gonna be getting. And I do have videos you'll see on the website that covers all of that. It's not gonna help you till you have iOS 11, but you at least get to see it. Okay, now touching and organizing your apps on the iPad, I've already talked about that. You know how to do the jiggle thing, right? Press and hold it till it jiggles and move it. The one thing that I like to do is the folders. Basically what folders are good for is you can take 2 apps or more and add them into a folder. And we're going to do that right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to tap and hold the icon for calendar and photos. But make sure before you do this, tap and hold your calendar and photos icon and make sure they're on the same page of your iPad, okay? And I'll walk around and make sure that's the case before we get started. So bullet number 2, we need to make sure that the calendar and the photos is on the same page. I'll take your iPad from you. You're already there. So there's calendar and there's calendar and photos. So you're good, so just hold off, you're good. You don't need to do anything. All right. Yep, good, and then you can tap the home button right now. Just want to make your calendar and photos on the same page. You got it. Good. Calendar photos the same. I picked those 2 because more than likely you kept them the same when you look back. Okay, now do this. Tap and hold the calendar until it shakes. Tap and hold the calendar until it shakes, and then drag and drop it onto photos and hold it there for just a second and then release it. And it should create a folder. And somebody tell me what folder name is it creates. What was it? Productivity. You're going to rename it to get stuff done. Okay? And just actually start typing. Tap it and start typing. And you can type whatever you want to. We're just going to play with it and do, it's called get stuff done. All right? And what's cool about this is, once this is created, okay, once this is created, it's going to look like mine on the overhead. Notice I have get stuff done with photos and calendar in it. And I can click and drag other apps into that folder now. So if you want to practice tapping and dragging other apps into that folder, go ahead and do that once you've created it. You will need to tap the home button first before you can do that. Tap the home button first, okay? Press and hold any app icon, and then push it into the new folder you just created and release it. And then to make sure it got in there, you just open up that folder and make sure it's there. How we doing over here, Kyle? Cool. Now, if you want to reverse what we just did, let me make sure you got it first. You can tap like that and drag it in if you want, just to play with it. Perfect. Now, here's what you want to do to reverse it. Click and hold the icons in the folder one by one. Make sure it starts shaking first, but remove them out of that folder. It'll get rid of the folder. So for yours, it's. Okay, now click and hold, drag these away. See how I've made a folder?
Yeah.
Now click and drag them away one by one. Do one at a time. Okay, you go back and do the other one. Oh, you have to open it up first. Go open it up. Tap it.
I see.
There you go. There you go. And then tap the home button. Okay, did it get rid of the folder after you dragged everything out? Do what now? Did it not work when you dragged everything out? All you have to do again is hold and press till it shakes inside the folder and then drag it out slowly, and then it'll eventually get rid of the folder. If it didn't work, I'll help you. That work for you now? Cool. You got to work back here? Okay, so what is creating groups used for then? Anybody remember? Anybody remember what the purpose of creating groups or folders for your apps? Why do you need that? How would you use it besides what we did here? I did.
The ones that you don't use in there that are on there.
Yeah, and somebody asked a question earlier, how do I group together? How do I group together the apps I want? Here's how you do it. Now, what the cool thing is, you can put anything in there. You can put not just apps, but if you saved a Safari web page to your home on your iPad, you can put that in there as well. So it doesn't have to be just apps. So good job. Okay, creating groups already did. Great job. Now what we're going to do is sharing. But before we go into sharing, we've got to do some things. We've got to open up Safari, and you're going to go to rockvalleycollege.edu as it says on the screen. So open up the Safari web browser and type in that website. And then type in the top, Rock Valley College. There we go. So it should go right to our website. We have internet connection. Share things with yourself and with each other in the room that have iPads. How can you just share marks and things, say things to your iPad? You can also share websites with each other. Let's make sure it's loaded up. So Rock Valley College is right up front center. When I see anybody's screen, I will go to the next thing. I'll wait. Ooh, we got a winner up here, so he's the first one there.
That's because it's yours.
Yeah, Rock Valley College. Yeah. But it could be any website. We'll try to think that will be that. Just rockvalleycollege.edu. In fact, I'll show you a little trick. If you just type in Rock Valley College in there, right there. So just go down, and right there where it says, Okay, I know it's taking a little bit, we'll wait till everybody gets there. And I'm gonna also do this on yours. Just hide it. Okay, you got it loaded on most of yours? We're just getting there. Halfway there. Well, we can actually circumvent the website, even though it's not loaded yet. We can do the following. Okay, right corner of Safari, like an arrow pointing up. The share button. I'll come around and where's that? That one right there. It's like a little, in the upper right corner, a little box with an arrow. Box with an up arrow. Tap that. Options. One of the options is add to home screen. Tap on that, add to home screen button. And you will need to scroll to the right, probably to see maybe. And instead of Rock Valley College for the name, rename it to RVC. Page on your iPad when it's done. So just, and then hit the X. And then tap RVC. Right on yours. Here. Sorry, and then just type RVC. As soon as you type RVC, then go ahead and tap the save button. You'll replace Rock Valley College with RVC, and then tap the add button, not save, but add. What it's going to do is take that and put it to your iPad home screen. You should see it eventually show up with a little icon that says RVC underneath it. And then just type in RVC. Just type in R, Victor, Charlie. B, no, C, and then save. And let it do its stuff. You'll see something happen in a second. Okay, we'll tap the home button. Okay, on your home screen, you should see RVC. Once you hit add, I want to make sure it's there. There it is right there. What this is a shortcut to that website after you have created it. That way you will remember it. You can do it on iPhone as well.
She's from Norway, so she has her road changed, but it doesn't, it keeps.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But no, you can load it. You should be able to go to the website and it's in there. When you get it there, same thing. Yep. Okay, I'm coming by to see the icon on your desktop. So go ahead and put your tap the home button. I just want to see the RVC. There you go. It might have the icon right now. It might just be an ugly white one right now. That's fine. Fill in good. Perfect. Now, if you tap that icon, go tap it. It's slow, it's still going to go slow, maybe. Or a little faster, you don't know. How many's loaded up right away? That's the other good thing about it. Once you've went to some website on Safari, members where you went to last, and you don't have to reload it. Okay? Now, you can do the very same thing we just did with bookmark. So do the very same thing, except select bookmark instead of home screen. Tap the share button, the little box with the arrow in Safari. Yep. Then add the bookmark, and then all you'll do is save it.
Who's on there? Is that you?
Save.
I'll come around. Okay.
Maybe that's so we can share that.
Tap that. So share button first. So, share that first. Oh. The box of the arrow.
Network connection with us again.
Then go down to add bookmark. And save. There we go. And it's going to save it in your bookmarks area. Right there, isn't it? Put it in your favorites, so like most of yours. So, adding to bookmark, adding to home, which one would you use more, or which one would be less cluttered? Probably the bookmark would be less cluttered. But if you're going to web every day, and your bank account, maybe, right? Credit card, whatever. You can do that with your credit card and bank account, add it to your home button, home screen. That way it's on your home screen before, right when you open up your iPad. Make sense?
Is it still that secure though? It's supposed to go in.
Yeah, it goes to the very same website, and you have to log in the same way. It's just a shortcut.
I have a picture.
Do what now?
There's a picture on the top that says contact me, open it, so you can share it with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly right. Some of the other options you'll see here on the screen, a little different. You can add it to reading list. You can add it to notes. You can email it to somebody. You can message it to somebody. Reminders, whole bunch of fun stuff you can do with it once you share. For tonight's purposes, we're focusing on bookmark, adding to home screen, and the next one, which is a lot of fun, where you can share with each other in just a second. Anybody heard of the term airdrop? Maybe from an airplane? Airdrop is a technology Apple created to share, like we just did with yourself, but with others in a room like this, when you're in a meeting at a work or at church or wherever, or in some type of civic group you're in, and you want to share things with people while you're in there, or even your home, you want to share with your family and friends, pictures and notes and websites. Instead of emailing them and messaging them, you can literally use AirDrop, and it'll literally drop it right on their iPad, which is pretty cool. So what you got to do in order for this to happen first is tap the home button of your iPad first to make sure everybody's at the same place. Then I want you to swipe up from take your finger, go below the screen to the very bottom of the iPad, and I'll come around. I'll show you anything on the iPad you got. Swipe up. It's actually right here. There you go. That's a little tricky. So it doesn't have a lot of white space on this. There it is. Okay, so just keep it right there. Good. I just want to make sure you're there before we go on. Okay, when you swiped up, you should see an AirDrop icon like mine on the overhead on bullet number 2. Everybody see that? That icon, the icon that looks like on the screen, the blue one, and select everyone. And if you don't have one, you don't have the right version, but when you upgrade, you will. So if you don't have it, don't worry about it. That means that you can share your screen with me. Go ahead and scroll the left on yours. Go like that. Go. AirDrop setting. Cool. Now go select everyone. All right, and I already selected on mine, but do it again. And then select everyone. Did you select everyone on yours? Right there, AirDrop. Everyone. Okay. Now, go ahead and tap the settings button on your iPad. After you tap the home, then settings. Home and settings. You got to figure out what your name is for your iPad. No, it's coming around. I'll come around and help you. Okay, so yours.
Yeah.
You tap about. Yours is Kathleen. Okay? Yep. No, that's fine. I can still show you your name. About. Yours is Sharon. And mine's Condell or Charles. Yours is going to be Gregory. Oh, let's see. Here's Johanna. Yours is Ricky. All right, let's see what yours is. Janet. Yours is Janet. So if you have an iCloud, it's going to be the name you're on. Yours is Trina. Okay? So everybody knows their name. Here's what you're going to do. Name of the person next to you. What I just told you what your name was, by the way. You probably already knew that, but not the first name of the person to your left or right. You can do it in front of you if you want to, or behind you. Safari, the same website we just went to. Tap the same share. Time you're going to select AirDrop and tap on that person's name, and they will get the website sent to them. And you can work with her if you want to. Trying to see how it works. So you can work with her on her iPad. Yeah. And then you don't even find out the person's name behind you. Behind you, you want to and talk to each other behind you. So Charles, he's Charles. And you, Greg.
Oh, I see.
All right, we'll tap the share. What was your first name?
All right.
All right, Gregory will show up here at the top. Let's see. What are your settings? What are your settings? Go to the mount. And where it says, let's say, bottom's iPad, tap on bottom's iPad. Name. And then tap that. And then just type in your first name like Greg.
I see Bob's iPad.
You see bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, go and tap it. Go ahead and back up. Go back to your settings. And there you go, Greg's fine. Okay, were you able to send yours to anybody? You can send it to mine if you want, a combo. You can send it to mine if you don't find anybody around you to send it to. You can send it to combo, K1, KOL. It'll send it to just showing up here, just like mine. Cool, we just got one. You just got one sent to you. Go ahead and accept it. You're getting a whole bunch of them. Now, here's the danger with this, okay? As you've already imagined, you probably want to keep AirDrop turned off unless you're going to use it. Because if AirDrop's turned on, you can be in an airport, you can be a hotspot like Starbucks. If you have it, okay. What I suggest to do is next, okay? Right after you get through selecting the person you're sharing with, and your pictures, just turn off AirDrop. You can also, by the way, isolate AirDrop to only certain people in your contacts. That's another way to control it. I just generally just turn it off if I'm not using it. So here's what you want to do now. You're going to go to your photos on your device. If everybody will hit the tab, the home button on your iPad, any photo you want to that you can share with people now, okay? Any photo that you want to, I want you to do the very same thing you just did with rockvalleycollege.edu. This is sharing a photo with your classmates. And you're going to use AirDrop. Hit the share button. You'll see when you tap on photos, there is a share button just like in Safari on the upper right corner. Do the very same thing. If you want to share with me, Conkle, that's fine, or people around you, if you got to know their name, you can share with them as well. We have Gregory over here. What was your last name, Greg? Bachman. His shows up, I believe, as Bachman iPad or something, or Greg iPad. Or you can take each other's picture and send it that way as well, like some people are doing. And I'm going to actually use my phone for this one, since I'm going to have him do the iPad. I'm going to use my phone and take everybody's picture here and share pictures with everybody here tonight. And I do this in parties a lot of times. Does anybody have people over a lot of times and then at the end you forget to take pictures? This is a real easy way to do it. You can take everybody's picture, and most people have an iPhone, believe it or not, or an iPad, or somebody in the family does. And now I'm going to share this with everybody here. All at once.
I don't know. How do you do all of them at the same time?
You can basically tap select in your photos, and then go through and select the photos you want, and you can select all of them at once to send. On the photos on your iPhone or iPad, either one, when you open up photos, there's a select button on the upper right corner. If you tap select, it'll let you select more than one photo to send to anybody. So you can do that.
And I don't have that share, right? I don't have that. You don't either. Here, I don't have the way.
So I'm going to select 3 photos, actually. These are different photos, and send them to. And somebody just sent one to my MacBook, so you'll see here, somebody grabbed my MacBook, which is fine. You can also send it to MacBooks as well. No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm tapping a whole bunch of people here and sending pictures right now. And I just sent the group photo to everybody. You should be getting it. Yeah. Pretty cool, right? And you can do that with either your iPhone or your iPad, either one. Cool. Everybody get the photo list now?
I didn't get it. She got it. I didn't.
You got it. You're on top. Let's see. What was your name on your iPad? Yeah, I'll do it. Joanna's waiting patiently. Okay, let's see. And you have everyone turned on for sharing on AirDrop? You didn't turn it off already, did you, Joanna?
No.
Okay. I'm resending again. So if I tap here, apologize. Check your AirDrop again, Joanna. Make sure it's everyone, because I don't see it showing up on mine. Just to make sure it's everyone again. Just do it one more time, and then I'll try it. Swipe and select AirDrop and everyone. Yep. And I will try again.
Yeah, I do my camera.
I know I'm resending these multiple times. Did you get it yet?
You got it.
You are connected. You are connected to the Wi-Fi still. Okay, you want to tap your home? Okay, good.
Yeah.
There you go. You got it. All right, cool.
I shared it.
You're just getting, she just shared it with you. All right, cool. Okay, so now here's it. Before I go on to this slide, I mean, not like here's going to the hip hopping nightclubs in Chicago on Friday, Saturday night. But you know, if you're just hanging out at the mall or you're hanging out anywhere at a restaurant, if somebody tries to share that, sometimes kids will use that to share pictures that you probably don't want to see. All right, so, or maybe you do want to see. So maybe you want to leave it on all the time. I don't know. I'm not going to leave that up to you. All right.
How do you just like one person? You can't do that.
Yeah, you can. No, actually, if you go to your device, okay, if everybody goes to your AirDrop again, swipe up from the bottom of your phone or iPad, select AirDrop everyone, but notice where it says contacts only. What that means is it will only accept AirDrops from people that have not only their name, but what's unique is it has to have their email. Their email will be in there as well. So if you have somebody, like if I'm in your contacts, right, with my email, and it'll let me share anything with you if it sees me in your contacts, and vice versa.
But you can't just pick one.
No, it's all. So that's why I said earlier, when I do it, I generally just select receiving off when I'm not using it, which just takes a second to do. No, not yet anyway. I'm not saying they won't do that in the future, but right now it's everything. And the way I use it, just so I remember it, is at the end of every meeting, I have a little note to myself I put in notes to turn off AirDrop. And I just tell everybody, if you have an iPhone during the meeting, just turn off AirDrop. Now, some people keep it on, but I just tell everybody anyway. So you just select AirDrop and everyone off, I believe, is the option. Yeah, well, yeah, swipe up from the bottom and then AirDrop, and then you should have 3 criteria: receiving off, everyone. You want receiving off. And if you do that, nobody can see you. Make sense? And that was available after iOS 9, I believe. So, okay, we have 720. Is everybody doing okay? Okay, now we're going to run into, anybody use Notes app before on the iPad, the Notes app? Okay, Notes app I love because I use Notes to take down quick thoughts, student observations, assessments, checklists, things like that. But also Notes does a lot of cool stuff besides that. You can bring in content from websites like text or images. You can draw on Notes, you know, just a hand drawing scribble on Notes as well. And so that's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna play with that. So if you will open up your Notes app on your iPad, and if you don't know where you're at on your iPad, just tap the home button, find Notes, open it up. As soon as you open up Notes on your iPad, depending on the version you have, you're going to see a camera icon on the lower right corner, more likely. Not used it before. The camera icon on the lower right, you can tap on that camera icon and you can get photos from your photo library, or you can take a photo. I'll let you choose which one you want to do right now. You can do either one. You want to try that? Tap on the photo icon on the bottom right corner of Notes. And as soon as you accept it or select it, it's going to add it into the Notes. I'll help you here. Notes, create a new one.
Yeah.
and tap that little plus symbol. And tap take photo. And pick the iPad up on both sides. And then turn the iPad, take a picture of the front of the classroom or side or whatever. And then when you're ready, you tap that blue or that white button. There you go. And then tap use photo. So as soon as you take a photo or choose a photo, you'll select use it, it'll add right into the notes. If you scroll down, right there at the bottom right. So let's practice pictures. Go ahead and have a picture of it. And you can take a picture or you can choose one you want. Choose a photo library. And just choose any photo just for fun. And we'll keep the notes up. We're going to keep on that. So there it is right there.
Okay.
You just did a good job.
Try and send.
No, not yet. We're going to keep on that. Good. Get it in here? Okay. You want to take a photo first of somebody. Anything. Just go and tap that white button there. There you go. And then, let's see here. Let's go ahead and go back to your notes and see where you're at. Camera icon first. We'll tap it again. That's it. There we go. Now tap the camera icon. And let's take a photo. Take a photo. Okay. Tap the white button. Tap use photo. There we go. Now let's end the picture. So you tap the little button there. Okay, once you added a picture, you can do the same with the scribble. There's a scribble icon that'll show up as well. It looks like a little scribble pencil. You can add your own little scribble. Just whatever you want. Hello, how's it going? Smiley face, whatever you want to do. And a whole bunch of different colors you can choose from on that one. Different pen types. Let me show you that. That one is this one here. Go down here and add a sketch. And that's actually called a sketch, by the way, is what it's called. So tap here and then get the other one, just one finger gesture there. There you go. And then just go ahead and tap done. Tap done. Cool. Looks like you're in the hang of it. Again, just practice makes perfect on that. You want to scribble on yours? It's a little scribble icon right here. Okay, you got to add a new note first. Now, see where the camera is? You did that earlier, right? Okay. I'll watch you do it again. You can grab an existing photo, that's fine. Just grab one, just select anyone that matters. And then use it. Hit the return key on your keyboard. And then hit the scribble icon. I'm going through all things on the fingers. Put it on the screen. There we go. And then when you're done with it, hit done. There you go, hit done. It'll add it into your notes now. There you go. Cool. And scribble, scribble. So I showed you how to add photos, how to add scribble. So we did okay. And then these are the Russian. Yeah. Cool. Ooh, nice hand going there. Like it. That's an artist. Whoa, sorry, artist. I like it.
That's the new car.
We can have hours of fun with that one, I can tell. Yeah. Okay. So you get my drift. Now here's the cool thing. I'll show you about this. Now you can share it just like you did with Safari. We're not going to spend time to do that. But the share button's there. If you look in notes, on the note you're on right now, you should see a share button somewhere on that screen on the upper right corner, and you can share it the exact same way we did earlier. AirDrop it, you can email it, you can message it, however you want to do it. Okay, now here's the cool thing. If you look on the overhead, iOS 11, how many works in business through the day? You work in a business office platform? Have you ever had to scan documents before? Okay, everybody's into that right now, right? Well, iOS 11 has added a feature in Notes to scan a document, and it does OCR, scanning of your document. You scan it, it embeds it right into the notes as you're working on. My wife worked for a cardiologist for years, and that would have been really nice to have back then, and I know they use it now. And then the new one is instead of the little icons you guys see now, which is a picture icon of a camera and a squiggly line, in iOS 11, it's just a plus symbol. When you hit the plus symbol, you have the option for photo, video, scan document, add sketch to you. Okay, so they've just added really scanned documents. Add sketch was already there already. You guys already had that. But again, that's used a lot in Notes. And the other thing you can do in Notes is, I put an example up here, copying. You can actually put a nice checklist. And so within the note you're at, or if you want to create a new note, by the way, if you've not used Notes before, we tap up this icon here, it just creates a new note. So you might want to do that for this example. Tap a new note. Then when you tap a new note, you'll see a checkbox available where you can create a list. I'll come by and help you find it. Okay, so create a new one. You have to see the checkbox. We'll tap the checkbox. We'll circle the checkbox. Third one over. Yep. Nope. The next one over from that. Nope. Left of the checkbox. There you go. And then just type in bread and then hit the return button. You have to tap that again. There you go. You got it. Nope. You just tapped it too many times. There you see the circle. Let's check box. So type in the word bread. Then return milk, return butter. Something like that. So let's make a list real quick.
I can't message it to you.
And what's cool about the list is, once you create the list and you hit done on that note, you can go back later and check box those checks. So go ahead and test it out. So test bread, check bread off. Just actually tap on the circle. Boom. It's checked. Oh. I check box. And hit enter first. And then keyboard. Yours is right there. Yep, you were right. Yep. Boom, there it is. So you want to type something in?
I can talk notes.
Find on your phone and help you. There you go. And if you select all that, you're going to select all, it'll pop it all. The first one, there you go. Perfect. And if you need to make one a checklist, you can just tap on that line, hit the little checkbox symbol, it'll make it a checklist. Pretty cool, right? And let's see. So and return, just go type in like milk. Okay. Am I okay? Enter.
Yeah.
Are you ready now to go down here?
Yeah.
And then let's try to tap that. No, let's tap the circle. So in your grocery store, you can use that to actually check off as you're getting items. Now, what's cool about this is you can actually send this list to your family, friends, grandkids, and they can check it off as they go. Okay? Make sense? And this one I use a lot, by the way, so hopefully I'll help you. Okay, the next one is tricky. We're going to do it, though. Here's a cool one you can do with Notes and Safari. Again, this is the newer version of the OS. You can do it in iOS 10. If you have iOS, below iOS 10, it's not available, but it's called split screen, okay? What we're gonna do here in a second, you'll see Notes on the left side, Safari on the right side, able to add content. I'm gonna show you a video first, and then we'll do it together. I'll walk around and help you, okay? Overhead. Gonna show what we're gonna do. I grab Notes first, like we've been doing, normal Notes, right? Then I go down, I can Safari to the right. Notice it gives us a split screen. Then what I can do here is I tap on the right side a nursing article, text. And I click and hold and drag the text over to Notes. And then I can go and click and drag my URL and drag it into my Notes. And I didn't like how it formatted. We'll see in a second. I'll get rid of that one and add it again, but I think I had a picture, so I got to do that. So I'll get rid of this one and add it again because I don't like how it didn't show up as a URL, a link actually. So you'll see I go back and I don't like it. There you go, select it, drag it down. So I got my text, I got my URL. Now watch this. I'll search for the word nurse in Safari on the right side. I want a picture of a nurse. And I'm searching Google. I go to the images tab in Google. I find an image of a nurse, over into Notes, and it now adds it into the Notes app. Pretty cool, right? And that's what the split that you do have available in iOS 11 and some in 10. 10 is just done a little different, but it can still be done. And when you're done, you get the finished copy, and you basically didn't type anything in. You just grab data browser. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to try to attempt to help you with the 10 users in here. Is if you fire up Notes, I'll kind of come one by one to help you. Because you have 11, so I'll come back. Okay. Right. So what you'll do is swipe over to the left with your finger, and you have to start like right here. And sometimes that's kind of tricky. Or you can just make sure it's working for us. So I don't see it's working on your device. If it's not, it'll work on 11 again. So you should this Notes here.
Yeah.
It's working on yours. So here, so drag this over here.
How did you do that?
I'll show you some sample bar here.
Yeah.
We can hold that bar and drag it to the right. So the very same thing. Yep. And what you do is this, you click down, right down, until you find Safari, tap on. And then click your middle bar again, and it's kind of centered in there. Split the center of the two splits. Click and hold and drag. Drag it along. There you go. And then the content from here. So if you go tap on this article. Tap on one more time. What you can do basically is drag about items with this. Yeah, I do. I do use that a lot.
But do you have a class that focuses on?
Yeah, more advanced stuff. Yes, I have level 2. Yep. What up? Yeah, I'll tell them that you guys are interested and see if we can do it. No.
I asked a lot of questions about.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about it. First, looking great. Yeah, you'll have to wait for your update. I just have a picture, iPad, and let's get it. Hold up. Just, yep, you're good. We got Safari. And then here's where you can write in items from Safari notes. I'm just going to show you how to get it started. We won't get into it tonight, but I'll show you how to get started. So we bring up notes. Okay, so swipe on the left, this right here. Grab Safari. And then press and hold that little white bar and drag it to the left where it's kind of centered. And then you have the availability to show you on the video. Isn't that cool? All right, let's see if we got that. I'll take a little work on that one. Your phone might work, yes. Back with this drag and drop is going to work. Just put it in landscape mode, not work on the phone. Not or the iPad. So you have to wait for the new lesson. So you won't wash your swipe from the left over. Take your finger, swipe out. There you go, wiper. Basically, are you in, go ahead and hit, you have Safari. You won't have on Safari. Okay, now go back to notes. Hit your home button. Hit your home button. Water up notes. And let's have a new note. Let's create a new note. And then do the swipe to the right, like I showed you earlier. That's the all the way from swipe down. On the side. So notes again. Yeah, then swipe on one side. And it looks like we'll click on small things. So yeah, looks like you have the feature though. You can do it on yours. Basically, that split screen is what shows you how to do it. So let me show you this one last time on the video for notes, real quick. Worth showing it to you. And again, this video is for you to watch over and over again when you get home. The update to iOS 11, but it's well worth watching. How easy it is to do. And again, you're going to take practice doing it. On iOS 11, instead of dragging from the right over, though, you'll notice I just click the icon I want to go to and drag it into the environment. And then you're able to do what I just showed you how to do. And again, I can bring in any app I wanted to on this right side. As I went around, I showed somehow you could bring in, not just Safari content. It could be YouTube video or wherever you want to bring in. To that could be your pictures from your photo library you could bring in. And so, again, I think a split screen's a little bit more advanced, but I thought I'd at least give you a sneak peek at it, to play with it and to look at it. Somebody asked in the back about like an intermediate advanced iPad class. I will let folks at RVC know that you guys might be interested in that. And then we'll have another session like this, but more for an intermediate advanced type. Would you guys be interested in that? Okay, cool. All right, so let's do this. So I'm going to pause the photo. How many likes to take photos? Here's what we're going to do now. Button on your iPad, and I want everybody to open up Photos and find any photo. Doesn't really matter what photo it is. And once you find the photo that you want to look at, on the right side of the iPad is an area to edit that photo. So I'll come around and help you with that. Here's, let's see. Okay, photos, and there's one right there of a frog. You want to tap edit? You want to tap the edit icon? Oh, let's see. Just tap on any photo. It looks like that one. Go and tap on details. We'll click on the ones with lots of details. Okay, if you don't have an edit button on your iOS, you might have a button to the left of details that looks like a whole bunch of lines. That's going to be your edit button. You're going to have the options edit. You can do an auto edit, you can auto by cropping it, or color, or brightness. I'm going to play with them real quick. Like for instance, the top one, that one there looks like a magic wand. That's an auto. Auto edit that picture. Yep, and then the one below that is cropping. If you tap on the cropping one, it looks like a square. You can then take and crop that image if you want to. I'm gonna borrow this real quick. And then the one below cropping is the filters. Filters icon goes through a whole bunch of different filters you can play with. Now below the filters icon, you've got the brightness. So if you look on the overhead, we've got this one here. You might say you don't see much of a change when you use it, but if you're in a dark room like this, you will see a change. It'll brighten it up automatically for you. When you tap on this one, you can actually pinch the picture and make it bigger or smaller. This here deals with the color and different filters like sepia, grayscale, right, 12 others. This is brightness. Filter, then this is brightness. And then the bottom one with the ellipsis, that's if you have other apps that edit photos, it'll let you edit them with those photo apps. It's called the More button. And again, what I recommend on photos is this, and we're going to do this in just a second, is I'm going to have you, one of these slides here, you're going to create a slideshow of some photos, which I like to do that with family events. We select multiple photos and select a slideshow. That you'll have fun with. The editing just takes practice on editing, by the way. And I will be adding on the website more videos and tutorials to help you with all of this. Again, just a real quick overview of photos for sure. Now, contacts. When you add contacts to an iPad, it's just like the iPhone. It basically just gives you a quick access of contact information for everybody you know. To do that, you first of all open up contacts, you add the plus symbol, tap the plus symbol, you enter in their information, and you save it. That's all you do. Pretty simple. If you want to go ahead and practice that real quick, you can put me as a contact if you want to, and I'll let you practice with me, with my contact information if you want to do that. So if you tap on the home button of your iPad, find contacts on your device. And an easy way, by the way, to search for any app on your iPad, if you swipe down anywhere on your iPad on a non-icon, the top will show a search criteria. And you can just type in the name of an app. So you type in contact, C-O-N, type in the word C-O-N, start typing it, and you'll see it show up and happens. I use that all the time. Again, just swiping down to the screen, you can get to it. So as soon as you tap in the plus symbol, here's that. Again, the plus sign on yours. Right here. So it's right in the middle left part of the screen, the plus symbol is on most of yours. Okay, my first name is Chuck. First name is Chuck, last name is Conkle. I wanted the test. First name Chuck, last name Conkle. You gotta add the plus symbol first. And let's see here, what else we got? So first name Chuck, last name Conkle, RBC for company, and I'll give you my phone number at RBC. So if you just tap on the green add phone button, so that phone, and phone number is 815 K1KOL. Last name K1KOL, and phone number is 815-713-6321. I'll read it again. First name Chuck, last name Conkle, K-O-N-K-O-L. Phone number 815-713-6321. You should also have an area down there for email. You can go ahead and tap on that, and I'll give you my RBC email. It's c.konkol@rockvalleycollege.edu. Again, c.konkol@rockvalleycollege.edu. First name Chuck, last name Conkle, K-O-N-K-O-L. Phone number 815-713-6321. Email c.konkol@rockvalleycollege.edu. Once you've added your contacts, it's pretty much just keeping them updated when people change their information. If you do use it for the airdrop, which I don't because it includes everybody in your contacts. So that's contacts. Now, some of you might not have your mail set up right now to use. How many has your mail set up right now to use? Raise your hand if you do have it set up to use on your iPad. You know you do. Well, if you do, it looks like the majority of you do, this just talks you through and walks you through how to create a brand new email, which is pretty self-explanatory, step-by-step, nothing real fancy about this. The only thing I'll mention on this slide is you might not have known, and on your keyboard, when you're in email, you can the icon that looks like a microphone. And what this will do is let you speak, and it'll convert it to text. Now, it's best to do that when you're by yourself because any background noise gets kind of mumble jumbled. So test this out or tomorrow or whatever. Now, I do have a student that uses this piece also in notes. It's available as well on your keyboard. And what he does is he reads his research into the microphone in the Notes app, and it converts it to text. Not perfect in its translation, but he goes back in and makes modifications later. Because some people have a problem. It's a dyslexia type of problem where when they read something, they don't understand quite how to transmit it into words on paper when they write it, but he can speak it no problem when he's researching anything. And so I told him to use this this speaker icon on his Notes app, and it works perfect for him. It really helped a lot.
Just have to enunciate.
Do I know?
Enunciate.
Enunciate, yes. It does not, yeah, right. It does not do so hot there. Do I know?
If you mumble.
Yeah, if you mumble, be very.
Fast.
It's best to be in a room by yourself with no other background noise. And again, not perfect, but you can transpose with that if you wanted to. And again, you can just play with it if you want to. I suggest doing it because most of you probably haven't tried it yet, the speaker icon. And you can use it again in notes and in your email, the speaker icon. Even in searching the web, when you put your cursor in Google or something and the keyboard pops up, you can use it as well for that to speak it in. And it'll again, 99.9% of the time get it right, but then it's not going to get right sometimes as well. So just beware of that. Again, running close on time, but I want to cover some of these last slides and just generality on what they do on your iPad. Messages is an app on your iPad where if I'm in your contact, like you just added me, I'm now in your message. You're now able to message me if I have an iPhone, which I do. And you can message me and text message me and send me information or questions or whatever. Now, here's the kicker, though. To be on Messenger with an iPad or iPhone, the other person has to have an iPad and iPhone as well for Messenger to work. Does that make sense? So if they have an Android device, you can add them manually, and then on their end, they've got to use do some tweaking on their end on the communication app for it to work. But it works best with iOS to iOS on Messenger app only. And the way Messenger app only works is, notice I can send on this image here, I can send text, I can send video, I can send audio in messages. So like my grandchildren, I can send them a message in messages to have a good day that day and embed a video if I wanted to, or a picture of where we're at, and quickly send it to them, and they can watch it when they can. So that's what Messages is good for. Sending text messages, audio, video messages, and file types can also be sent, like text files, PDFs, things like that can be sent as well. So you can also, as you notice here, the new version of iOS 11, even iOS 10 lets you do this, I believe, where you can send a text message with writing, handwriting with your finger, and then send it to them. You know, my wife and I have the Apple Watch. I can actually send her a message and put my finger on the Apple Watch, and she can get my heart rate, my heartbeat as it is now. Which sometimes when I'm teaching, it can be pretty high. So I don't send it to her then. But if I just, you know, just in the afternoon sometimes just to show her I'm thinking of her, I'll send her a message with my heartbeat. And actually on her end, on Messenger, it actually shows a heart beating, but it's actually my heartbeat with the same sound as a heart would have. So that's kind of cool. So staying connected with FaceTime, we talked about that already. Definitely play with that. If the person's in your contacts and has an iPhone or iPad, they already have FaceTime, and you can basically, one of the options in the contacts, besides calling that person, is FaceTiming that person. My contact that I gave you with that phone number, you can call me, text me, or FaceTime. And FaceTime looks like the little video icon on number 3 there on the overhead. And basically you just call at any time. You don't have to answer, but you know, they don't have to answer, but you can definitely call. Setting reminders. Siri does a pretty good job at setting reminders. This is okay. I've used it before. Not a perfect job. But basically to set a reminder on Siri, I'll show you real quick how to do it. I'll do it on my phone. So here we go. I'm going to say, it says, remind me to close the classroom windows at 3. I'm saying, remind me to lock up the door before I leave.
Before I can do that, you'll need to enable reminders on your iPhone's location services.
And I turned off iPhone location services for everything pretty much. And I turned it on just now. Good, and it's added it. And so now I have a reminder when I leave this building to close the door. And so a lot of things you can add Siri. There's tons of different helps on Apple's website. I also have helps on the website that I've given you, the webpage, to show you how to create Siri notifications. And you might not like them. I'm not going to tell you I really like them, because I don't. So I don't use them a lot, but I have used them in meetings where I don't have time to write something down. I'll use it real quick. Like, I'll remind myself to say, remind me to add a meeting for Joe tomorrow at noon. It'll do that. It'll remind me to do that, okay? And it actually adds it in the app on the iPad called the Reminder app.
I have a question.
Yes.
It adds reminders, but it doesn't remind me. I can check my reminders.
Exactly. That's the bad thing about reminders. And it doesn't, the Reminder app is a misnomer because it does put it in the Reminder app, but it doesn't alert you. Right? That's what, then see, it doesn't alert you, so you do have to go back and check it. That's why I don't really use it a lot, because of that. Because what I'll do with the Reminder app is I'll remind myself to add a meeting for Joe tomorrow at noon, but then in my calendar I can remind myself. It'll alert me an hour before or the day before. But you're right, the Reminders app does not allow you to do that. In the calendar though, when you're creating an event in the calendar, you do have the ability, and this is real a basic calendar, nothing real fancy. It does give you the ability to add in a start time and end time. It also adds in the ability to what calendar to add it to. But the nice thing it's on this screen is where you can add in a reminder for you. So like a day before, an hour before, it'll remind you. That's what I use a lot. Staying on task. Basically, like tonight on my presentation on my computer, I turned off the do not disturb, or turned on the do not disturb. And if you swipe up from the bottom of your iPad right now, you tap your home button and swipe up from the bottom of your iPad or iPhone, you should have the ability to turn off, it looks like a half moon. If you tap on it, it'll say do not disturb off. You tap on it again, not disturb on. I'll come around and show you that. It's right there. So right now, do not disturb is on. Tap on it again, do not disturb is off. What that means is when you're in a meeting, you tap on that, no phone calls will come through, no notifications will come through, no Facebook messengers or Twitter or whatever else you have. I use that a lot. Okay, I'm going to show you this one last thing. This is really cool. You'll like this. Okay, have you ever been on a web page and you're like, you know, I'd like to be able to save everything on this web page. I don't want to lose anything on here. I want to look just like this. What the text look like, what the picture look like. You ever had that work? You know. So here I'm going to show you how to do it. Screenshots. Basically, what it is, web page or anything on your iPad, and do a screenshot. The way to do it is number 2, like we did the first of class. You press and hold the sleep button and the home button at the same time. It's kind of tricky. Go ahead and practice it though. On wherever you're at on your screen right now, doesn't matter. Just tap the home button and just screenshot your home screen button. What it's going to do is going to put it in the camera of the photos of your app on the iPad. So again, on this one here, I'm not going around and help you. Here's the sleep home. There you go. And you'll actually hear a little click sound maybe. Here on yours. Where's your home? Your screen is here, right? Yeah, that's it. Press and hold that. Those are at the same time. We're pressing separate. Same time. Let's see if I can. Oh, restart. It's okay. If you press and hold it too much, restart.
Where did you get your? You said we could look this up later.
Yeah, it's on my website. I'll give it to you at the very end.
Oh.
Yep. So did you practice a screenshot? Okay, hold screenshot. Okay, and then you're sleeping. Same time. And that's me at the same time though. We'll try it again. If you don't do it exactly the same time, it doesn't work. Take some practice. Yeah, my fault. There we go. Yep. You got the screenshot up here? Figured it out? Cool. And a screenshot up here? Figured it out? And once you screenshot it and you go to your camera, it's then going to see that screenshot in the camera of your app. Kicking us out.
Sorry.
That's okay. All right, we'll wrap it up. Okay, so let me forward fast here. You know, do the screenshot. I use that a lot, by the way, to remember things, whether it be a website detail. I don't have time to write it down. I'll screenshot it, my phone or my iPad, and I can remember it later. Okay, let me forward fast. Okay, there's my contact information, which everybody has in your contacts already. But again, rbcrcode.com, and I'll actually take you to the website to show you what it looks like. Here. We have lots of stuff on this website, but I made a page just for this class. And if you'll see in a second, it should show up a menu for workshops and then iPads. And here on the page now is everything that you watched today. If you click on this, it opens up on a separate page, the entire presentation. Okay. And I'm also putting below this link where it says live link to iPad training. The video, which you see right now, will be a recorded video of everything that you've seen and heard will be below that. Okay. I'm also going to be adding links below here on updated videos as iOS 11 comes in, so you can have that. So even though you don't have to wait for the intermediate advanced class, as I create podcasts or screencasts, what they call them, I'll put them in here for you. And I have everybody's email, so I can email you that when it's updated. Okay, the Lord Library does, and I'll give them information to email you. Because when you guys registered, you did have to give your email. Is that correct? Did you, or your phone number? Make a note to yourself before we leave here.